Swing, baby, yeah! Sorry, throw the intro and I'll explain that. Hi and welcome. If you haven't been here before, my name is Langers and I am the overgrown child that is the Scruffy Trader. And what I'm trying to do is kind of put trading in the real world. Maybe show you a trick or two along the way. That sounds good? Please click the little subscribe button. Genuinely helps. Smash the like icon and we'll crack on. So what am I banging on about today? Well, in the immortal words of Austin Powers, swing baby, yeah! That's right, swing trading. I had a good email off Peter in South Africa a couple of days ago. Nice shout to you, my friend. Great to catch up. And he asked, what are the pros and cons of swing trading? And it's kind of timed really well. Because if you've been watching some of the videos of late, stupidly, I decided to burn the midnight oil, drink loads of coffee, because we all know Scruffy likes it coffee, and trade the Asian session. Now for me, that is in the middle of the night. And the reason I did it is because I connect with a lot of guys, and some people are far overseas, and that's their daytime. And others work during the day and they trade at night. And I've never really ever done it. I've never had to. So it was a good experiment. But within that experiment, I did have a light bulb moment. And it is a good one. And it's, for me, it's fantastic because I've done this for over 15 years. And I learn every day. I mean, I've spent a fortune on my education. I really have over the course of 15, 20 years. But I'm predominantly self-taught in the way that I trade now. You know, I've had some good mentors through the year, and I've been on some good courses, seminars like bank seminars, that sort of thing. I take a bit from here and a bit from there, and I've cobbled it into my way. But I still learn every day. And the one thing that I figured out with doing the Asian session, to be a day trader scalper is a nightmare. Because the moves aren't there. There's only really the Nikkei that shifts about. But then you have to be patient and wait. And I'm going to touch on that in a review video on Friday because I've been trading it each night and I'll show you the figures. I'm up at the moment, but it's not brilliant. Could be better. But what I did figure out is it's the perfect time to find your swing trades. Because the markets are slower. And I'll touch on that on the board in a second. So what do I feel the differences in trading? Because I suppose for a new trader, they might actually know what a swing trade is. Because there's God knows how much terminology in the industry. For me, there are 4 disciplines. You have a scalper. And that'd be a trader that's looking to be in and out of the market constantly, just nicking out 2 or 3 ticks at a time, predominantly on a 5 or a 1 minute chart. Will it make you any money? No. But it is the perfect sales tool for this.
You ding dong!
Yeah. They will say they do this all the time, and I'll show you a screenshot of loads of trades. Do it for a day? Yeah. Do it for 2 days? Possible. Do it for 2 years? Not a chance. It is very difficult and labour intensive, and I don't know anybody that scalps and has done it for a long period of time and makes a lot of money from it. The next discipline is my preferred discipline. It's what I'm good at and I make a good living from it. And it is day trading. Now a day trader will look to trade once, twice a day be completely flat at the end of the night, but the positions will generate between 10 and 30 pips per trade, and you have to be patient, and that's one of your strengths if you want to be a day trader. Great stuff. It's very calming, very peaceful, but you've got to be able to read the markets, combine it with some indicators, and away you go. You then have a position trader. Now that's almost like an investment. You'll put your order in January and you might get it out sometime that same year. And then in the middle, you have what's called a swing trader. And that's a position that's held overnight for a day to maybe a couple of weeks. And the idea behind them is a swing kind of fits between a day trade and a position trade. It's easier to control. You don't have to monitor it as much as a day trade. And the rewards are normally risk reward in your favor. Okay. Whereas with a day trade and a scalp, where with a scalp it's definitely inversed. With a day trade it's kind of 1-to-1 initially. When you're swing trading, it can be 1.5 to 3 as a minimum, and then as much else as you get. Position trader is normally multi times your risk. So let's have a little look at the pros and cons, so I can kind of try and put this into context. So the first pro is it's easy. And I know straight away that's kind of controversial when you're talking about trading, because trading is not easy. The technicals are, but you're not. It's your emotions that play havoc for a day trader. Now, for a swing trader, emotions shouldn't really come into it, because you're dealing on such a high time frame. It is normally a 1 hour, a 4 hour, or a day chart. Okay? A 4 hour is the better of the 3 for a swing trader. Why is that? Because if you can see the candles clearly and it comes down into a level and then moves up 1, there's a high probability it's going to continue for the next 4 hours in the opposite direction. You can get some decent pips out of it, just because it's a big candle, that's all. So it is quite easy. But the setups are easier. You see, as a day trader, you need to be able to read the structure of the market, understand the indicators that are there, and then read the price action to get in. Not so much with a swing trade. And why is that? Because when you're day trading, you're trying to predict the movement for the next couple of hours. And the indicators and the price action can pretty much help you with that. As a swing trader, you've got no idea what's happening tomorrow. And you certainly don't know what's happening next week. And I don't care who you are, you don't. So your decision process is not about trying to put clues and whatever together. It's almost mechanical. And that can be as simple as a golden cross. Now, what's a golden cross and a death cross? Well, it's a 200 moving average, like so. And then when a 50 crosses it, that is your golden cross. And then when it comes back, it is your death cross. That's the easiest strategy going. It really is. But what makes it easy? You're only looking at the charts a few times a day. If you're on a 4 hour candle, 8, 12, 4, 8, and then back 12 again. Easy. Very, very easy. You know, if you're a day trader, you're looking at it every hour. Now for me, I work roughly about an 8 hour day. So I'm looking at the charts 8 times a day. If you're a scalper, You're looking at the charts every minute. Bloody nightmare. So it is easy in that sense. So what is the con against it being easy? It is unknown. And why is that? Just simply because we don't know what the future is. A lot can happen overnight. A lot can happen across a weekend. Whereas with a day trader, you're only looking a finite length of time. Swing trading is not. Okay? And that's the difference between the risk rewards of the pair. So that is the next pro. The reward. The reward is inevitably greater because you are setting out to get 3 times your risk, which just by definition means you're looking for 50, 60, 100 ticks as opposed to 10 or 20. So your reward is greater. But your downside is you have to wait for it. And if you're an impatient person and you've got a bit of an itchy trigger finger or you're a bit nervous, that waiting will play havoc with you. So it's the yin and the yang all the time. Now there is another side to it as well, because this is another con. Your risk is greater because you need to allow it to move. So if you're a day trader and you have a stop at say 50 ticks for argument's sake, second level down or whatever it happens to be, a swing trader could have 100 to 150 down to its stop to allow it to breathe, because you're dealing on a higher time frame. You're not going to get away with a 10 pip stop. Okay, so the risk is greater. You also have overnight risk, so that is a nightmare as well. And why is that a nightmare? Because the market can gap. Now fortunately it can gap in your favour as much as it can gap against you. So again, goes back to your reward, makes your reward a little bit better. Okay, and then what is the next sort of pro, if you like? Well, it's cheap. You know, so the cost is cheaper than day trading. Now that one will scratch your head. Why is that? Because you're only putting on one position, so you'll pay the spread once. You know, if euro, dollar, or whatever it happens to be, the spread's about a pip, so you'll pay 1 pip. If you're on the DAX, it could be, let's say, up to 5 if you put it on late at night, but that's as much as you're going to pay. If you're a day trader and you traded twice in the same period of time as your swing trade, so you held it for 3 days for argument's sake, so that's 6 trades as a day trader, you paid 6 lots of costs. So swing trader is actually cheaper to conduct business. And finally, it's calm, peaceful, because you don't have to be a slave to the machine. You're not in front of the screen all the time. You could just look at the charts once a day if you're using a day chart. So you could say 8 o'clock every day I look, and if the price has crossed the 200, I'm going in. Simple as that. And to me, that's the way I look at swing trades. Some people might look at it in a different way, but that's how I compute it in my mind. And I have a hybrid between a day trade and a swing trade. And what is that? I can start a day trade off, but because I break up my positions quite a lot, I always try and leave one to run if I can see the market conditions are correct. And that is the last and final point of today's little talk. Market conditions. You see, when I was talking earlier on about a day trader reading the charts and one thing and another, you have minimal chart reading within a swing trade. But there is one thing that you need to be able to recognize, and it's whether or not a market's trending. If you open it up and you look at it and you can immediately see the chart is moving up, the chart is moving up. If you can immediately see the market is moving down, then the market's moving down. But if you can't immediately see it within the first 10, 15 seconds of looking at the screen, which direction it's going sideways. So just by definition, you're either going to be up, sideways, or down. If it's sideways, you are not in the market. If it is up or down, you just wait for your entry signal, whatever that may be, and away you go. Because if you're swing trading, you need to be in a trend. It'll never work in a range. So I hope all that kind of makes a little bit of sense. You got any queries, by all means, drop it in the comments or contact me. I'm easy found. My contact details are in the description. And I'll try and clarify it. But I just wanted to come on the screen really to sort of point Peter in the right direction as to what I see. And to clarify and sort of summarize, swing trading is the easiest, but its win rate is not as good just because you don't know how far the market's going to go. However, I will leave you a little nugget before that. When you put in your support and resistance lines, every time it moves up to one, take so much of your trade off and trail your stop behind the moving average that you've used. That way you're constantly getting paid, and if you get pinged out, well, at least you got paid. The worst thing in the world is seeing your sort of 60 pip profit roll back and take you out of the loss. It's a nightmare. So trade management is what you need to do with swing trading as much as your entry, and that's how I would do it. I would be carving off every time I go into a support and resistance level or a certain pip count. So normally for me, I will pull out an ATR, and if the ATR for a day is 100, I will be moving my stop every 50. You know, taking a little bit off the table. So I hope that all kind of makes sense. Just an off the cuff video. I am incredibly knackered at the moment because I didn't get to bed till turn 4 o'clock this morning because I was doing the Asian session, but I just wanted to address this. So, got any queries, by all means shout them below. And as always, do what you love and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.